Water is something most of us don't think about until we turn on the tap. But did you know that here in Charles County, nearly all of our drinking water comes from deep underground? Groundwater is a resource that's getting national attention, and for good reason. As our county continues to grow, so does the importance of protecting this vital source. Today we're joined by Jason Groth to talk about where our water comes from, the challenges we face, and what's being done to ensure clean and reliable water for generations to come. Jason, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So now let's start with the basics. What exactly is groundwater, and why is it such a hot topic both nationally and here in Charles County?
Sure. So groundwater is water that's underground, just like it sounds, but the difference is it's in either confined aquifers or unconfined aquifers. So in other words, it's more close to the surface where it's easily accessible, or it's deep underground, sort of concealed from other layers where it's tapped into with groundwater wells for consumption.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So can you explain where Charles County gets its groundwater from and how our system is different from other counties in Maryland?
Sure. So Charles County is located in what's called the coastal plain. The coastal plain is made up of sands and sediments and clay in layers in the ground. The sands and sediments are what house the water, and the clay is what confines the aquifers from each other. If you go west of I-95, that's called the Piedmont. The Piedmont is more rocky, and essentially to get water there, they drill through rock until they hit a vein of water. So it's actually more difficult to get water in the Piedmont than it is here locally. But the coastal plain is an area that is relatively easy to find water.
Okay.
It's plentiful and it's very clean.
Okay. So over the last 10 to 15 years, how has groundwater use here changed with growth and development?
Sure. So as development has changed over the years, we've grown, the demand has increased, there's industry, there's agriculture, all of these uses use water. And as time goes on and as we grow, more water gets consumed. The question is, how do you find the balance between the groundwater withdrawals being used for all of those things and the recharge where water's going back into the ground and refilling the aquifers?
Okay. Now I know there are some misconceptions about groundwater. What are some common myths you'd like to clear up?
There are many myths out there, and one of the predominant ones is that we're running out of water. Now, obviously, people get a little bit confused about this because it rains, you know, and we have issues even with flooding from time to time. That water does go back in the ground, and we're not running out of water. But what's important is, like I mentioned a minute ago, we need to make sure we find that balance between the water we're pulling out and the water that's going back in. And so one of the ways we diversify is we look at other water sources, such as surface water.
Okay.
In nearby Prince George's County, they have surface water resources and groundwater resources. And so they combine the two together to make sure they have an adequate water supply for their existing population as well as future demand.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. Now, looking ahead, what steps is Charles County taking to make sure our water supply remains sustainable?
That's a great question. The main thing that we're doing is we are looking at that diversification, like I mentioned. We have an agreement with the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, or WSSC, to draw more water from their surface water sources. We'd be purchasing that water and transmitting it into our water system. So we'd have a combination of groundwater and surface water. But we have an agreement with WSSC to purchase up to 6.4 million gallons a day, so a substantial amount of water.
Definitely.
And we also have our groundwater permits from the state, which allow us to withdraw a similar amount of water. So slowly we'll be lessening our withdrawal on the groundwater and increasing our draw from WSSC, giving the aquifers a chance to balance out and for our rural residents and farms and so on to have a reliable water source for themselves.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. Now, Jason, final question. If residents want to learn more or have concerns about groundwater, what's the best way for them to reach out?
We're starting to put more resources on our website that'll be easily accessible any time of day, of course, but they're always welcome to call the Office of Planning and Growth Management to get more information.
Okay, thank you so much. Groundwater is essential to daily life here in Charles County, and it's encouraging to hear about the steps being taken to safeguard it. Jason, thank you so much for sharing your insight and perspective today. For those watching, if you'd like to learn more or connect with the Department of Planning and Growth Management, you can find details on the county's website. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Natasha Anthony. This is Charles County Now.